Hello and welcome back to SQL 101. My name is Matt Tanner, and in this series, we're covering all of the essentials of SQL to make sure that you can work with databases more efficiently. So far, we've learned how to retrieve, filter, and sort data. In today's lesson, we're going to look at a keyword that can really help out with managing large data sets. This keyword we're talking about is the distinct keyword. The distinct keyword is going to allow us to remove duplicates from query results so that we can just see the essentials. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to use distinct within your SQL queries and make sure that those query results only contain unique values. Let's get started by diving right in. So if you've been following along so far with our SQL 101 series, you'll know that we already have some data loaded into SingleStore. SingleStore is the database that we're using in order to go through all of these lessons. So if you don't have the initial data loaded, you can either go to the GitHub link that's in the description and run those statements, or you can go back through our previous episodes and load that data then. Once the data is loaded, we can come back into SingleStore, go over to Data Studio, then click Open SQL Editor, and here we can see the last statement that we ran in the previous tutorial on order by. As we mentioned in the introduction, we're actually going to be going over the distinct keyword today. So when you query a database, sometimes the results contain duplicate rows. And this can happen when multiple records share the same values in one or more columns. The distinct keyword actually stops that from happening and solves this problem, so you only are returning unique rows. And the basic syntax for that looks just like this. Select distinct column 1, column 2, and column from table name. And this tells the database to only return rows where the values in the specified columns are unique. So let's take a look at some practical examples so we can see how this works. First, let's start with a simple example. Suppose we wanted to see which departments are represented in the employees table. If we run this as it is, you'll see that we have 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 1. Of course, this is easy enough for us to understand in this smaller data set, but in a large data set with potentially thousands of numbers, we want to only have the unique numbers displayed in the result. So to get rid of those multiple department IDs, we can simply add the distinct keyword, which you can see I've added here. Now when I run this, you'll see each department only once. Even though there may be many employees in that department, using distinct allows us to eliminate duplicates, making the data returned a little bit easier to understand. Now let's say we wanted to see a unique combinations of departments and salaries. So when using distinct, it applies to all the columns you include in your select statement, not just one. So for example, if we want to get the distinct combinations of department ID and salary, we'd write the query like this. Select distinct department ID and salary, and distinct will be applied to both of these from employees. This will return a list of unique combinations of department ID and salary. In other words, if two employees in the same department earn the same salary, only one of those rows will be included in the result. So this is really helpful when you're looking for patterns or trying to reduce your data set to only unique values. Now, sometimes you don't want to see the distinct values, you just simply want to count them. For example, how many different departments are represented in the employees table? Now, of course, we could run the query that we ran previously and count them manually. However, to do this from a more automated perspective, we can look at a query like this. Select count distinct department ID as unique departments. So this is the alias we've chatted about in the past from employees. And when we run this, you can see unique departments is 4. So this is actually going to return the number of unique departments in the employees table. So you can use distinct with aggregate functions like count, sum, average, which we'll go over later on in this series. And it's going to get unique values first, then perform the calculation. This is incredibly useful when you're analyzing data and need to reduce redundancy in the returned query results. And with that, we've learned how to use the distinct keyword to remove duplicates in our SQL query results. Whether you're working with a single column or multiple columns, the distinct keyword can help and ensure that you only get unique results. In the end, this means that your query result is going to be cleaner and much more easy to analyze. In our next video, we're going to cover the group by clause, so make sure that you don't miss that. As always, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that When new additions are added to the series, you're notified. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy querying.